minute. All right. I know everybody kind of sits and waits for people to join, but I think a lot of my friends probably going to catch us later. Yeah, this is Manny's mic locker. And what do I do here? Well, I'm producer one. I like to make records, badass records. And I like to say a lot of F bombs. So this video is not made for kids, but maybe for kids at heart. So I haven't, there was a moment where I was doing a lot of videos every day. I'm not only a ribbon fanatic, but I've also had to complete some records. I had this really cool artist, Lemo, come in. I think I posted a video here of him playing guitar. And if you look at some Audioscape stuff years ago, I did the last Lemo record. So Lemo came in and cut 10 songs. Definitely a huge chunk of my time. I finished a band called Werewolf Etiquette. They're fucking sick. I know, right? I said, you caught me right on the F bomb. Jesus, man. Talk about perfect timing. um, right as the absurdist had just put F bombs, and I was just saying they're fucking. Oh my God, you busted me. I can't even complete a sentence without an F bomb. So, yeah, so I'd working on that band. My friend Barry came in. He has a band called Big Store. I'm finishing them. Another band, my friend, his name is Frank Discussion, and he has this punk band that I just mixed the record. I don't know when it will come out, but it was a drummer from the Dead Kennedys. He actually passed away maybe a year ago, not that long ago. It seems like a year ago. It could be 2 years ago. But anyways, it was the drummer from Dead Kennedys, and uh, Frank Frank's band. I'm opening up a hold on. Didn't make a sizzle manizzle, but I got my Dopo Chico. Hold on. That's like drinking a Coke without the That's like drinking a Coke without the sugar. All right. So Frank's. This is not really a claim to fame. His band is fucking sick. He was in a band that was made famous by Kurt Cobain. So there's a famous picture of Kurt Cobain, and I think the sticker says something about a good cop and a brick in the face, or there's something like that. Um, and hey, Bibble. Well, I'm going to talk about that right now. I'm going to be working on these microphones. These are two Cascade fatheads that just come in. These are mics that I have people buy for. They used to be 99, but I think with the current state of the world, they went up $12. Is that 12%? So, anyways, 112. You can get these, and then when I get done with them, they're green meanies and they're cool. But anyways, so Frank came in. Well, Frank's claim to fame is on Kurt Cobain's guitar. There's this sticker, and I want to say it has something to do with like a brick in the face or a cop. It was like this notorious. It was these stickers that used to come in with this record that he had, and Frank's band was made famous by Kurt Cobain talking about this punk band that he loved. Um, so I'm doing Frank's band, and that just came out of the blue. I'm not even sure how Frank had gotten word from me, but they had done some mixes. They recorded with a guy. I want to say he did. It wasn't Paramore. It was something else. They wanted something more raw, and I'll be honest with you. This guy who tracked it did a fucking hell of a job. I mean, I spend my day trying to get toms to sound good, and the drummer for the Dead Kennedys guy must have had like 4 toms. Each one of them sounded immaculate. So it just, I'm not saying like engineers know it all. I just heard that shit. I was like, and I'm mixing it, and I'm just like, okay, that's something to strive for in the new year. This year's almost over. Better tom sounds, but I have an old drum set, and this drum set this guy was using sounds like a brand new DW. I mean, there's something about modern kits that are fucking outstanding. Paul, what's up? Um, so I was gonna say to everyone, Paul's good time to listen. So I've been caught up in a lot of records. My car went down for a few days last week, which my car went into the shop. and that really kept me from getting in here to work. And then also, when I'm making all these videos about ribbon mics, you should always think about what you wish for. I probably had about 40 microphones come in from me just putting out the word, and I have to be realistic. I'm one guy, and it takes about 4 hours each mic. And then now that I've been painting them green, it takes 2 days to do the mics now, because I primer them, and then once the primer dries, I paint them. And then because these go back into these cases, they have to be perfectly dry. And I don't want the and these mics come in with this like kind of styrofoam, kind of spongy plastic, and I definitely don't want to send these off and have them stick to the insides of the microphone cases. So between all that, and actually, if I don't do any videos, that's kind of like self-regulating the intake of microphones, because I do want to be active in getting people back their microphones in time. Today I sent off some mics to my buddy Ryan, who's in Guam. Can you believe that? Guam. The guy watched me here on YouTube and he's like, "Hey man, I live in Guam. Can I get some mics?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can." So felt really good to send his off. I have some mics going out next week, and like I said, these Cascades just came in, and I haven't really like I said, I've just been trying to regulate myself when I do these videos, and of course I'm hyped on doing these mics. I once again have to just be realistic. You know, I'm a human being and I run a recording studio, and there's a certain amount of time that I can dedicate. And my other problem is I fucking give a fuck. So it's like I can't even burn through these fast because they're so important to me to make sure they sound good and I'm thorough. So anyway, so let's get to business here. What do we have here? Okay, so these are the Cascades that just came in. I'm gonna do these today. I want to mention that these, only reason I'm bringing these up because I'm down to maybe, I think there's 3 left of these. So I kind of get in the moment of like, okay, usually takes a few weeks for people to write me and maybe inquire about getting some mics upgraded. So I think this is a good time for me to jump off the, I'm fucking slammed to now I'm like, okay, I think I have some days coming up. One other thing that's actually really cool is my band Chavez Ravine. If you look at my Manny mic lockers that are more videos, there's some music there. That's my band, the Chavez Ravine. We're actually playing some SoCal shows, which is pretty amazing. We haven't played in, whew, maybe 2 years. And the last show was at the El Rey Theater, which is a very wonderful theater in Los Angeles. And I couldn't believe this band requested us to open for them, so that was super rad. And then this band that actually asked us to open is another sick band from Kansas City. They're called Shiner, and Gherkin is the drummer. I used to work when I worked at this bar called the Cha Cha. Well, actually, no, Gherkin wasn't there. Gherkin was actually when I met him, I recorded his brother's band out of San Diego, and he was fucking sick drummer, and he would always talk about his brother Gherkin. And then I went to go see Gherkin play, and I found out he was the local cat manager of one of the bars out here. And Gherkin's just been this legendary drummer. Like even when he was out here, he had already stopped playing in China, but his reputation as a drummer was just. And I saw him play a few times. So, long story long, Gherkin is in Kansas City. He just wrote me and told me that Shiner was coming out to Southern California for some Southern California dates. So I said, fuck yeah, man, we'll play with you guys. So we're playing with them out in Joshua Tree, or near Joshua Tree. Um, and we're playing with them on October the 6th. It's called Mojave Gold. And I think it may be closer to, what's the other city? Anyways, it's just basically the next city next to Joshua Tree. So we're playing at Mojave Gold with them on the 6th. And then they're playing in Los Angeles here, not too far from where I live and even the studio. It's a place called Roadhouse Records. And, no, I'm sorry, Roadhouse Records. It's Permanent Records. And they're playing, I don't think they initially planned 2 shows, but they have 2 dates. The first one already sold out. So for my Los Angeles peeps, if you see this, the first show is already sold out. And then they added a second show. So we're playing 2 shows with them there in Los Angeles, my hometown. And then we're playing out in the desert. There was another show in San Diego and then one up in the desert. But I don't mind missing that. I was actually really worried. I have a session coming in my studio. Really, really wicked friend of mine is coming in, and Mike, there they are. The actual man of the man who sent me these has just piped in. Those are your fatheads, motherfucker. I said it. Um, so anyway, so yeah, so we're playing those shows coming up in October, and I do have a recording with a really sick band. I don't want to say it yet. That's right after the date, so it actually worked out pretty perfect because we played the 6th and the 7th, 2 shows on the 7th, and then I had my studio booked out for the last 2 months for the 8th, so that actually works out great. Anyway, so yeah, it feels good to be busy, to be playing music. And another thing too is I know if you're not a member, please you can add me to become a member here. I know I'm promising you guys some subscriptions and some really cool content. I'm working on that right now, and I can't say it till we get it done, but it's regarding my band, the Chavez Ravine. And I have some cool tutorials coming up. I just did a tour out in the desert in Indio. That's going to be a video I have to finish up editing. Um, what else was going on? But yeah, that's it. I've not done a lot of these because I have to be properly respectful to the intake of mics I get. In each one of these mics, like you'll see me do this one, it'll be like 2 hours, but it really takes 4 because then I still have to test them. And if there's something weird in the testing of the mics, I have to redo them again. Yeah, man. Look at this. I got my Topo Chico action going on. And so if you guys want to help me out, you can subscribe. I know everybody likes that. You can also buy me a coffee or a Topo Chico. In the description or below it or above it, there's a thanks icon. You can buy me a coffee there. And even better, if you guys subscribe, I promise you coming up soon, there's going to be some really cool stuff that I'm only going to share with the members here. And I think we got a really tight crew. I think we have like 7 members the last time I counted. We could have had uh, maybe one person to lead off that. I'm not sure. I haven't counted that. um, yeah, I think it's somewhere in the thanks. This is really strange. Like sometimes when this video gets posted live, you can't see the thank you, and then when it gets, so I'm not sure. It'd be somewhere below or above the description, and I think it's when you get options for the page, maybe subscriptions, maybe becoming a member. But if you guys can become a member, that'd be cool. So we're all about ribbon mics here. I'm cuckoo for ribbons, and another. Well, that's fucking great news. Actually, that's what I'm going to be showing you guys is my ribbon mic that I've designed myself is fully done. I cannot fucking believe it. My partner has it right now in Kavina, and we got 3, and I'm about to put our first microphone together. Now, my ribbon mic does not look like any of these mics. This is a certain style of mic that are figure 8, open back, beautiful sounding ribbons. I've made a ribbon mic that's strictly going to be for guitars. So I got my 3 prototypes done. I wish I could share more about the transformers. We're getting those made in Southern California. As of right now, it looks like the whole mic will be made here. Now you can get into that process of like, well, does that really mean it's not made in China because it's assembled here? Quote. Well, in all sincerity, all the machines and all the metal work and wherever the metal comes from, I don't know technically, but it's getting fabricated in Sun Valley, all the metal work. And then and some of the work's getting done in Orange County, California, and then some's getting done in actually Sun Valley. Again, 2 of the companies are in Sun Valley. And then I'm going to be putting them together, ribboning them. There's a lot of stuff I need to get in order. And then I'm going to hopefully I'm going to get to, I have to test these thoroughly. I mean, not only, I'm going to ship one back east to a buddy of mine. I'm just going to tell him, just short of running it over, just put it to the test. And he could change ribbons too. So if there's an issue with any of the ribbons or he blows them, I'm sure he can change them again. Then I have a partner that's in Hawaii. My friend Dimitri Marmash has a studio called Fun with Audio. He has a studio that's amazing called the Rainforest Room. He's going to get a version of the mic to test it out there. And then I'm going to be testing it. So we got 3 prototypes. I'll be putting it to the test. Guy back east will be doing it. And then Dimitri in Hawaii will be using it. And then hopefully we'll all get together and talk more about the mic. Now, shockingly, the way things have moved so fast, I possibly will have this mic for sale, maybe at the end of the year or the beginning of next year. This mic is pretty fucking sick. Its design is pretty unique at the end of the day. It has a lot of classics that I really love. Um, hold on one second. Just had a nice little guy piping in some interesting stuff. But yeah, so on the ribbon mic world, for me, this is crazy. You know, I didn't think the mic would be ready for a while, and we did a slight change in the design because what I was hoping for in some more cosmetic probably couldn't happen until the middle of next year. But everything had come through on the parts, and technically the mic doesn't affect the sound what I wanted. So I'm just like, fuck it, let's just get it done. So it's going to be cool. On the price range, I'm not sure yet because we haven't got it all done. Um, but I wish I could show you guys the mic. But what I may end up doing is, so everybody who subscribes, I'll do a quick little chat and show you guys all what the mic looks like. We're getting a pending on it as well, which means we had to get a lawyer for that. We had to get an LLC for the business. All that stuff is being handled. So when we launch it, it's legit. And we're only making 100, and that's going to be just our standard. You know, if it takes us a year to sell 100, then it does. We're not planning, this is not a get rich thing. Like if you're getting into ribbon mics, if you looked at like a pie of the cuts of microphones between tube mics and dynamics mics and ribbon mics, probably the smallest world is going to be ribbon mics. Even though Royer is a wicked country, there's a certain amount of money per year they're going to make different from Telefunken and Shure. I mean, fucking, you know, oh my God, Shure is a multi-billion-dollar company now between all their products. And I'm not looking to be that, but I'm definitely looking to bring something in the market that I pretty much would say is one of the greatest guitar ribbon mics. And of course, I have plans for Lollipop style or bigger ribbons. I actually have maybe 5 strong styles of ribbon mics I'm going to be making. They're all going to be passive. I'm not really into active pickups because I mean active ribbons. I think they sound different. I kind of don't like them. And my opinion on that is the R88 by AEA. The passive one fucking sounds incredible. The one that's active, I'm not really that into it. And it'd almost be like if Coles became active. I'd be like, nah, it's probably not going to sound good. I'd rather just get a regular Coles mic. So, okie dokie. So, a friend of mine sent in these. We're going to get at these. These are the before and afters. These are mics that you can buy on Sweetwater. They're called MXL R144s. I personally think this is a perfect storm of a ribbon mic. They used to be 99 bucks, now they're 112. And the way it works is you, in my description, you can get my contact information, say hello to me. If you live in the United States, Sweetwater ships for free. So basically, you contact me, I give you my PO box. You order this on Sweetwater for 112 bucks, unless it goes back down to 99. I'm not sure, but 112, I think the last time I looked. You buy a pair of these or one if you can afford. Pairs I recommend, but if you can't, it's okay. Send me one. Put them on PO box. It's arrives at my PO box. It's $250 a mic upgrade. So if you get a pair, it's $250 each mic. And what happens is I get the mic and it becomes this mic. So this is before and then after. What I'm doing on these ones are, this one's already actually done. So I'm not going to pop off the top. So it's finished. Paint is dry. So basically I get these and rebuild them on the inside, put in new ribbons, whatever needs to be done to make this sound fucking sick. And I'll be honest with you, I think when I'm done with these, they sound like $1,200 ribbon mics. I'm not even lying. They're about 3 to 5 dBs louder, maybe 6. And really, really, really incredible mics. So let me put this one back. Hold on. These all come from a certain place, and I got to make sure I put them back in that place. Hold tight for 1 second. Back. And put the other one back. right, they're both back. So back to business. What do we got here? We got a Cascade. All right now. So I always praise these ones as being awesome. The gaps in these are, I've tested some and I've been pretty impressed on the gap. I do think these mics are some of the best lollipops you can get now. They don't make Cascades anymore. Hold on one second. Oh, something. So yeah, so they don't make Cascades anymore. These became Pinnacles. These are Fatheads. Were probably the first famous, kind of not. I mean, Royers at the time. There wasn't a lot of ribbon mics out there in the market, and there was a flood of Chinese ribbon mics, but nothing really caught on except the Fatheads. And I don't know if it's the marketing or what they did, but basically these are made in China, and they all pretty much have. I mean, even modern mics now, they all have the same transducer. That transducer's there, that transducer's there. It's the same one. All the Chinese mics have this. The two magnets go here, the ribbon in there. You get a positive and a negative, and that's it. All Chinese mics have that, something like that. The only mics that don't are, I think Golden Age has a larger mic, which used to be a copy of a Cascade, which used to be a copy of an Ampex or a Shiny Box. So back in the day, there was Shiny Box, there was Apex, and that was it. And then you got MXL coming into the market, and then you had Fathead. And what Fathead do, they'd buy these Chinese mics, rebrand them. And these are almost, I mean, they're a little bit different. Symbolically, same thing in here, but Nady RSM 4s and RSM 5s are symbolically something like this. And then, like I said, then they would pop Lundell transformers in these. I don't know if these have Lundells in them, but here's something. This is 8809 serial number, and this is 8810. So these are sequential. I mean, they were made right after each other. One thing I will say, these are old. They're older. And this, I think, rest in peace, the owner passed away of Cascade, and I believe the family took it over. Now it's Pinnacle. Made probably the same, except I don't think these have the Lundells in them. Oh, and they do. There they are. Lundell transformers. So these are the real deals. Some of these don't have that on there. So anyways, these, for me too, these are the perfect storm. I think that these and those MXLs that just showed you, it has a lot to do with the grill, the openness. Royers, they put them in a tube like about this thick, so the ribbon mic is kind of crammed in there, and you're getting that force of the close-up miking. It's just a different style, even though they're figure eight. Sound pressure, the tube, how the sound works in that. But when you have open up cages like this, I think lollipops are like the best kept secret out there. So these two Cascades usually have a very healthy gap. These have Lundell in them. And once again, these have become Pinnacle. And then if you look at Golden Age, I think Golden Age, I mean, that's what I mean. The Chinese company that makes all these mics, they just rebrand them, laser cut them, or however they did this back in the day. And then, like I said, Golden Age has the ones that are identical to this. I don't know if they put Lundells in them, but these are technically really healthy, good mics. And reason I posted these as the best lollipops is that in the world of ribbon mics, still a pair of these can run you about $700, $350 a piece, maybe 300, maybe a little bit more. I don't know, but I know that when you buy these anyways, they still, and pardon my French, they still have a shitty ribbon inside. They're still Chinese. It's the same ribbon that comes out of MXLs or in these Nady ribbons. It's the same thing. They don't get any better. There is no, I'm sure there's some quality control, but the ribbons do not match the quality that you get out of a Royer, a Bayer, a Kohl's, AEA. I mean, these are long enough to, if you put an AEA ribbon, if I walked into their factory and said, can you put some ribbons in this? It would be incredible. So I'm kind of doing that. That's my thing. I just get them and I refurbish them technically. And also, once I've known about these two, there's tape inside that goes bad. So there's a little metal screen that flops around, and sometimes, not really these ones, but sometimes the tape on the backside comes loose. So when I do these mics, it's a little bit of a bitch because I've got to not just open it up from the front and change the ribbon. I have to open up, re-release it from the grill so I can get to the back side, and I have to replace the tape on it, because if I'm going to open this up and do it, it doesn't make any sense that I would do this side. And what if that tape on the bottom comes undone and that screen comes loose? Then I'm sending it back to the guy, and it says, hey man, there's a noise inside because the tape's bad. So that's what I'm doing. So let's get this in here. Got a little these mics are used. I mean, it is a used mic, but they are used, it looks like. So let me just actually, you know what, I think the best is going to be here. Let me see here. So anyways, I'm live. What's going on, everyone? Yeah, no, they do mic right there, Lundell. So yeah, these are like, you know, if you could find these with the Lundells, that's a better call, because once they do the ribbons, now you're talking, they turn into like $1,200 mics. I mean, maybe back in the day, these are $300-400 piece, maybe 500 piece. I don't know. But what people loved about them is the way they sounded. So even with a bad ribbon in it, that design is perfect. And once you put a high quality ribbon in there, high quality aluminum, I corrugate my ribbons somewhat very resilient, kind of a Royer. So it's almost like I put a Royer ribbon and resilience and not going to blow easy. And I put that in this mic that has a Lundell transformer. It's kind of like fucking adding fucking, you know, gasoline to the fire, because when I make this mic 3 to 5 dBs louder, hitting the Lundell, I mean, we're talking like it's fucking smoking. This mic is going to be fucking killer. I'm not even saying it because Mike, the owners are online watching me, you motherfucker. But you know, it's these are my favorites, and for whatever reason, man, I don't see a lot of these, but I think a lot of studios have these and they use them and they love them, and they don't feel like there's any reason why they would want to change them, which makes sense. But once you change the ribbon in this and you hear it, then you feel like you have an R84 or you got a Coles, you got something that's really high quality. Enough of the yapping. I've been yapping for 27 minutes and I haven't fucking taken out a screw yet. What's going on with that? So yeah, my car was down last week. And is it going? I feel like that was going. I think I had a problem with the last one. I'm talking some shit here. I need to get some schnizzle my nizzle. Let's get this out of here. Is that really good? That came loose. So my car was down last week. Where'd you go? My car was down last week. And a few days I had to take the train and the bus into the studio. Now, I'm not against public transportation. I like it. You know, and I actually live right by a train station. Hold on, these guys are really, really fucking... I want to strip these. They're really deep and they're really like... Fuck you, we're in. We're in like Flynn. If I'm gonna do this, I gotta be able to take the fucking mic off. That's crazy. Hold on. Maybe there's dirt inside there. Hold on. Usually my... Maybe these are just virgin.
So yeah, I took the.
Luckily I live right by a train station. My studio is located in a weird spot, but the East LA station ends not far from here. I almost could walk here probably, but with ICE raiding our neighborhood, I don't think so. I know it sounds weird to say that, but they don't fuck around. They pull up and they throw you to the ground and they handcuff you and hog tie you and they carry you in a car. you know, and I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. So I did take the train, and they scout the train. And they look. I mean, I'm honestly walk around. I do walk around with my passport, and check these two screws usually come loose, but that feels pretty good. So yeah, this tape right here, depending on maybe the weather of where you're located, uh, this tape goes bad. This looks actually pretty good, but I mean, I've got to change the ribbon, so I've got to remove this. And I can't see the tape on the other side. So this is a positive wire, which goes to this plastic piece of like PC board, so it's isolated from not touching the transducer or the motor. Then the negative wire, I can't see it, but it's probably soldered on the back side, which makes this whole thing grounded, and then that'll be the negative. So this will all be negative. That's the positive. The ribbon is that in there. The ribbon doesn't look too bad. My corrugation will not be that kind of corrugation. This is really, no pun intended, a fatter corrugation, but it doesn't mean fatter sound. It's just a looser, smoother corrugation. I think at the time when they've done these, they were probably trying to match something that would be out of an RCA. Now, if you kind of go like, well, that's kind of cool. Well, the difference is these two neodymium magnets, and RCA has four neodymiums, two here and two here, clamped in there. So that sensitivity and even that smoothness is being put through maybe 2-3 pounds of magnets. And that's four if that's a new one. If it's an old one, it'll be an Alnico magnet here, an Alnico magnet here. Maybe each one is 3 to 5 pounds. Maybe that's why they're like, super massively heavy. But that's the difference. You can get more, like if I put two massive magnets onto each side of this and have that corrugation, yeah, you're probably going to really get close to an RCA, but that's just not realistic. And this is made so it's light and you can put it on drums, and your stand isn't going to fall over and break. So the neodymium are the modern magnets. And like I said, when I put that corrugation in there, it's going to be a lot better. You're going to get more mids, more highs, and the ribbon will be louder, which is weird to say, but that's the facts. Those are the facts, mine. So anyways, so I took the bus in, and I forgot there's two ways to get in here to the studio. And I took one way, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I'll take there's like a Long Beach bus that'll take me down to Whittier Boulevard. And then I have just one bus across to my studio. So each way to my studio, there's two routes: bus, or bus train. And I took both of them, but the first time I went bus. But what I don't know is when I go bus to bus, this line that I'm catching on comes out of downtown LA Skid Row. I can't remember the name. It was like it wasn't like the 84, but there was this rhyme of this. But they changed the number to the 18. But it used to have some kind of rhyme that had something to do with Skid Row. So, anyways, I took that bus, and this is the first time I've taken the bus in like 2 fucking years. I kind of like it. I'm in the day. I dropped the car off at the mechanic. He's got to fix it. It's overheating, and at the same time it overheated. My back brakes just fucking went out ugly. Luckily enough, I didn't have to tow it there. Um, and yeah, so this tape goes bad. this tape actually looks pretty sticky right now, so that's good. But in a year or so, that was gonna go bad anyway, so might as well replace it, which is not a big deal. This screen has nothing to do with the sound except keeping your ribbon inside the microphone. That's it. When you hit high sound pressure, this screen is just keeping the ribbon from moving outside the magnets. That's all it is for. But that little piece of tape, after a while, comes loose, and pretty soon you have a little schnizzle manizzle moving around in there. And that's not good because ribbon mics are really sensitive. And with that thing moving or flopping around, you're going to hear it when sound pressure hits it. So anyway, so I take this bus that's coming from Skid Row. And I forgot about that until I got on it. And I was like, oh, fuck, man. And it was like the crew of people there are just like, yeah, they're coming from, I mean, there's families and moms and kids on there, but technically there's some hardened people that travel back and forth on that line that are maybe going home, maybe doing something, but some people ride the bus all day because of the air conditioning, so they get out of the heat. And I feel bad. I mean, they're homeless. So, well, I'm sitting at about the middle of the bus, and I can see to my right in front of me, if you went one seat in front of me and then went right, there's a man that looks like he's handicapped because he's got one of those little, hand walkers with the wheels, the ones you walk around, you shuffle around, but it's kind of like when you're disabled. So I see him standing there, and now these people, I'm not going to tell you their colors of the skin, because then I don't want to put, not necessarily racist, but just to give you, I just don't want to say it because it doesn't really matter. They're just people on the bus. So the guy's handicapped. I'm going to say he's probably 70 years old. And there's a woman who's leaning forward towards him, and he's talking to her. And I didn't really catch what he was saying. I had my headphones, and I was going to be like, I had to review some songs for a band. So this is what I'm talking about. I'm going to take off this back screen, even though this looks really good. Eventually, that's just going to go bad. So it doesn't make any sense for me to, not do this. If that makes any sense. As I stab my finger many times doing this. So I notice him. He's talking to the lady, and I have my earbuds on, so I'm not totally paying attention. And I'll tell you 1 second here. Hold on. I just got to get this off before I can tell my story. Let's rip this off. Okay. Look at mine. Yeah. Get my little screen roller here. Put it back, make it flat again. It's just screwed right onto this transducer. They used to have, the Navies have a wire that comes around, which I kind of prefer that better. But, still they sound good, so what the fuck do I know? Okay. So for right now, because there's a screw that drops back there, excuse me, I'm just going to keep this in a working position so I can work on it. Let me get a drink of my Topo Chico. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a thank you icon. Excuse me. Does not do you good for hydration. So I can't see what I mean. I'm listening to some music, and I can see them interacting. She's in front of me. He's right here, and I look at him, and I can see him talking to her, and I didn't know if they were together initially, but then he looks at her and he does his hands like this. And he sticks out his tongue and starts doing that. And as I take off my earbuds, he says, "I want to eat you out." And I was like, "What?" And he keeps on doing this and putting this on his face and then sticking his tongue out to this lady here. She's probably about 65 or 70. He's 70 years old. And he has a walker. And I'm just like, he can't be talking to that lady like that. We're on a fucking train. That's like fucking sexual harassment. And she's laughing. She's like, "Oh, like, oh, what are you saying?" He's like, I want to eat you out. And he's doing that with his face and making his tongue. Now, we're on a full, everybody's on the bus. There's two old ladies behind him. There's people all around him. And I think he's got like that tunnel vision of either you're drunk or you're fucked up. He just doesn't realize what he's doing. Or maybe he does. So then I take off my earbuds. Now I'm really focusing because I'm like, if this guy fucking does anything, I'm going to fucking... I mean, he's fucking handicapped. I guess I could just push him over. And then he looks at her again. And he goes, "Let me sit next to you." And then he goes like this. And I was like, oh my fucking God. I mean, this guy on the fucking bus, this is like 1 p.m. in the afternoon. And he's talking to this lady. And I can't see her. I can see the back of her head. And she's like laughing and like shocked at what he's saying. He keeps on insisting, "Let me sit next to you." And he goes like that. He goes, "I got a boner. I'm hard." And I was like, oh my fucking God. I'm like back in like 7th grade or something, or 6th grade with the fucking moron here. And so, and then things happen really fast. She gets up at a stop. And as she walks out to leave, he fucking grabs her ass. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And then she hops off the bus and goes. Now, as she hops off the bus, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, is that assault? Is that sexual fucking bad? Like, what the fuck that guy just do? And right when I'm already like, I couldn't stop that, but a young girl sits down in her seat, and she must have been maybe 16 or 17. And he starts to talk to her, and I tell her, "Hey, that guy just grabbed a woman that was sitting in this seat." And then she moves over one seat. And I'm watching him. If he goes for that young girl, I'm going to fucking knock him out. Or I'm going to knock him over. And so then he's obviously kind of fucked up. And so he starts mumbling to himself. He didn't hear me tell the girl, "Move away from that guy. He's out of hand." So as I sit there, a mom comes on with 2 boys. And the boys are like, Knucklehead City. They're like, 6 years old, 5 years old. They're looking at their Game Boys. They're doing stuff like that. And she's kind of she's a little bit of a heavier set woman. Once again, the nationalities of everyone doesn't matter. They're just people. And she sits down there and she's playing with the boys. And then he looks at her, and and I'll be honest with you, she had, her upper body was, healthy. But she's a mom. She's hanging out with her kids. She doesn't give a fuck. She's going to the store. I mean, fucking, she's got 2 boys with her. He then asks her, "Where are you from?" And that was it. I said, "Hey, motherfucker, you just fucking grabbed a chick. Don't fucking talk to that lady." And I told that lady, that fucking guy just grabbed a lady just a while ago. And then he stands up, the guy who's was crippled, stands up and tells me he's American. He was born in the USA. And I said, I don't give a fuck where you're born, man. That was sexual fucking assault, what you did. And he starts to walk towards me, and I put my hand out, and I said, dude, don't fucking come any closer. And I put my hand the whole distance to separate myself from have him do anything. And I don't know if, I mean, those are the types of guys that have knives on them, and you get shanked really fast. And I don't have anything, I mean, I have my own knife. I do. Hold on. This is the Manny public transportation mic. Knife. That's a good one. That's my style right there. I'm fucking into that. But anyways, yeah, I have my own knife. But I wasn't flexing it, and I didn't want to bring it out, and it's not that time to do that. So I tell that lady, stay away from this guy and your boys. He sexually assaulted a woman. I just saw it. And there's two old ladies behind him, and they're like, yeah, we saw it too. And then as he starts to come towards me, there's a guy that I want to say is once again about 65 or 70. He's probably about 300 pounds, maybe 6'2", 6'3". He stands up. He's a fucking giant. And when this guy was saying I was born in the United States and I was in the military, that guy in front of me and behind him, he says, hey, motherfucker, I went to fucking Vietnam and I'm fucking crazy. And he like makes this loud rawr. I was like, what the fuck is going on? First time I'm on public transit in 2 fucking years, and I have like a Tyrannosaurus Rex ready to devour this guy that's handicapped and sexually assaulting women. And when I said it really loud, this guy is sexually assaulting a woman, the bus driver stopped the bus, and he has a cage. He opens it up and looks out, and he goes, what's going on? I said, this fucking guy just sexually, he goes, where's the woman? And I go, she's already left, but he's talking to this mom, and he's trying to talk to everyone around him. And then when I said that guy has sexually assaulted a woman, he was sober enough to go, I'm just going to get off the bus and fuck all you guys. And so everybody stops, and he walks past the fucking massive giant guy from the fucking Vietnam War, and he's like, arr, and he got off the bus with his fucking walker. They had to lower the thing, and dirt, 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 and he has to like walk like he's acting like he's old. But yet that guy's walking around with a boner fucking trying to grab chicks. So anyways, that was my story. And then the guy from Vietnam looks at me and he gives me a thumbs up. I'm like, thumbs up, brother. Thank you. And yeah, I was covered. But man, after not riding public transit, and that's my fucking experience on the fucking, oh my God, I was just like, really? I go, this is my day. So that was last week. My car breaks down, and I'm fighting people on the bus, sexually assaulting women in front of my fucking eyes. And I feel bad because I should have been smart enough to know, I don't think this is going to work. I think I should have been smart enough to know that what that guy was going to do when that woman stood up, regrettably on my end. I felt like I should have been way more in front of that and just said, hey, move over here. I mean, she was in front of me, kind of blocking him, and I couldn't stop it. And then when she just exited the bus, I was like, so even when I walked up to the front, I apologized to the bus driver, and I said, hey man, I'm sorry for causing a scene. That guy sexually assaulted a woman. He goes, where's that woman? I go, she got off the bus. He's like, well, why didn't she say something? I go, I don't, dude, it was so fast. He assaulted her, she got off the bus, and that's just it. So anyways, well, looking at this ribbon, that's pretty lax, but it's not bad. It just looks like it's been used. I mean, this is old, looks factory. Probably 1.8 maybe thickness of the ribbon. Let me get my light game going on. Yeah, so that idea. So then when I came back, I decided to take the train, and I took another route that didn't involve the Skid Row world. I'm getting no action. I I think my Harbor Freight screwdriver is sometimes these screws are different. I forgot what the styles of them are, but I mean, these are like fucking really jammed in there. Whew. And they're like, fuck you. We're not moving for no one. Is that gonna work? What do we got here? Where are all my cool screwdrivers? Yeah, public transit is fucking crazy. There was a time for maybe about 2 years I didn't have a car. It was right kind of in the beginning of the pandemic. So at some point I was just like, fucking, no one's going anywhere anyways. I didn't need a car. And so I was taking the train everywhere, but it was a point where every time I went on the train, someone was talking to themselves. And there wasn't even a time when I was never on a train and there wasn't some madman on the train. Now, some people would say that's probably not a big deal. Who fucking cares? There's some incidents that have happened in Southern California where men and women have been stabbed to death. I mean, even recently, there's a woman that was stabbed to death in, hold on. A woman that was stabbed to death back east of the Midwest. In front of people, just fucking stabbed, dead. That, oh, that's why they're fucking locked down with red. That's tricky. I don't want them to, I can't put, acetone to eat that tape. Found it. So yeah, so there wasn't a time that I didn't get on there wasn't a time that I didn't get on the bus and have some fucking crazy people around me. And you get used to it, but then when we would take the train, sometimes me and my wife would take it from, like, let's say we would go thrift store shopping. This is probably like when things started opening up a bit, and we would go thrift store shopping in Covina. And as we walked to figure out which train we'd be, like, what car of the trains we'd be getting on, man, it was just like endless sea of just whacked out people. So it's almost like it didn't matter which train you went on. So anyways, my story about how fast things can change, and if you're not aware, is I used to go to this place called Millie's in Silver Lake and eat breakfast there every morning. And one morning I saw this homeless lady. It doesn't matter what her skin color was, but she was a big woman. She was walking with her cart, and there was a couple sitting here, a lady, her baby, and the husband. As her cart went by there, she stops, turns the cart in towards the doorway, where now she's kind of sideways next to the woman and her child. She reaches on the table, grabs the knife of the woman, and points it to her and starts cussing at her like, fuck you, bitch, and all this shit. And like that quick, she has her baby, they're eating breakfast, she walks over, turns the car, grabs a knife, and suddenly she's got a knife at this lady. And eventually the lady moved away and the husband put her hand out. And I think the people that own Millie's are pretty fucking rad. And they're all big dudes. And they came out and she like dropped the knife and then took off down the street. So she's obviously has some kind of mental problems. But how fast was that she grabbed that knife and could have stabbed that lady, and no one could have done anything. So I do think there's a point of where you just, when you're public transportation or out in public and there's homeless people or weird people with mental issues, you gotta think about that. There was a guy, at Taco Zone, which I go get tacos at. Now we're talking 2 in the morning. Another incident. He had a sword. He was just talking all this fucking crazy shit. And either, I don't know if I called the cops or someone else called the cops, but hold on a second. The cops come, and he's just talking shit. I'm from, I'm this and that. I'll fucking kill you. And he's just doing all this martial arts shits with the fucking sword. The police come. He drops the sword and says, "Hey man, I'm from the military. I got, Afghanistan." And he like starts babbling like normal. "I'm just sorry, man. I'm just like kind of losing it." And the police take his sword and they don't arrest him, and he moves on. So I mean, there's a certain point of self-preservation that even when you're crazy and you don't want to go to jail, you can get enough sanity together to get through the situation, and you don't go to jail. But now that person left that place, probably had another stored somewhere, and it will continue on. That is going to be his life. Story. I mean, it can go on forever, man. There was This is all Los Angeles. This is probably, when this been? Maybe 1999, maybe 2000. Hold on. Why is that thing so jammed in there? Yeah, we got one fucking rogue plastic part. Yeah, I was at the club, and hold on. So, anyways, this is the late 90s, early 2000. Gonna do it. Said they're the red paint. It's locked it in almost like a glue. The other ones had it too, but didn't really do it. I mean, I got it to move. Hold on a second. There, man. Well, it's not over, but I have other screws for this. Just the thing is so locked in. I've never had one this tight in there. You guys. Whew, this may be one of the hardest ones I've ever fucking had in my life. You hold it well. is stabbing a screwdriver through your hand time. The fucker. I don't think I've ever had one this tight. That's great. Again. It's crooked. Can you fucking believe that? It's fucking crooked. Oh my god. No wonder what a fucking bitch. Alright, well. This is going back in the no use. Alright, that was exciting. Hold it now. All this metal flaky shit around here. I don't really need it in my world. Just cleaning up the table, little metal particles. Usually I would just kind of dust it off, as my wife says, dust. But it's not gonna really work because sometimes I'm barefoot over here, so I don't really want that either. Alrighty, well, wasn't that exciting? Not. back to business. So let me see here. Good, so now I'm gonna clean this. Whew. We're replacing a ribbon and a ribbon microphone. Someone's inquiring. I don't know if it's the most exciting thing, but for me, I dig it. And for a small percentage of the musical recording community, this is important. But there's a lot more entertaining shit on fucking YouTube. You know what I'm saying, man? You catch my drift? You capiche? Cool. If you like microphones and you like recording, I'm basically redoing mics that sometimes are more affordable to buy. And I have to definitely clean some of the metal. You can see some of the metal from that came off, and I have to clear all that metal from here. The magnet is a magnet. A bit more. So this is what the ribbon looked like that was in the microphone. Sometimes when I get these Chinese ribbons, it would fade, which is really strange. It's almost like they would oxidize or rust, or the impurity of the aluminum wasn't really pure. This one feels pretty good. I'm gonna say probably 1.8. So anyways, that's a ribbon mic. That's what makes the sound. Let's get that guy out of there. That is a ribbon mic. That sound turns into pixie dust. The way it works is the ribbon moves like a feather between these two magnets. The sensitivity of that feather moving, picking up sound of drums, vocals, or this is the oldest technology. This is probably one of the oldest way of recording. Frank Sinatra, the Wizard of Oz, all that sound were from ribbon mics. And they vary in styles, but it's basically a ribbon, magnets, and a transformer. The ribbon moves, positive, negative, turns to electricity. The magnetic wave moves around, that turns to electricity and sound, which goes through the mic and out. So if I'm talking right now and there's a ribbon in there, that sensitivity of the ribbon moving up and down would pick up my voice or the drums or whatever it is. It's crazy. It's like black magic. I mean, who figured this out? I have no fucking idea. But this technology has been around for a long time. Like I said, the Wizard of Oz, you know, classic Frank Sinatra, some of the earliest stuff, all those records that we love, you know, Buddy Holly, Elvis Presley, you know, those are all ribbon mics. You know, those ribbon mics cost $3,000 to $5,000 to $7,000, but it's still a ribbon, it's still a magnet, and there's still a motherfucker singing in it. Or sorry, if there's a lady, a woman, we must be respectful. I'm cleaning this one more time because I just want to make sure there's nothing going on here. The ribbon area is clean and clear. Well, ribbon right there. That's what we're doing. We're cleaning it up. Speaking of that, I might as well just do one quick scrub of the grill. I mean, this mic was in great condition. It never looked like it was opened. Sorry about that. Okay, so now we're gonna put a ribbon in here. If I remember right, the gaps are pretty healthy in these. They can go from 5 millimeters across, and the gap is the gap between the two ribbons. I'm going to cut a ribbon. The ribbon is this paper right here. This is high-grade aluminum that I'm going to cut, and I'm going to put that in between there, and that's going to make that mic into a badass mic. First, let me get my Topo Chico. And I heard that you can't thank me on this one, but if there is a thanks icon, you can buy me a coffee or a Topo Chico. My channel, I'm a producer. I do badass bands in Los Angeles, so I have really cool videos and stuff on recording. I'm not just a mic nerd, I'm a mic nerd. And if you want to subscribe, that's awesome. If you want to become a member, we only have we only got a few. I think we have 7. But in the few weeks, I'm gonna have some really cool content just for my peeps. And I just sprayed alcohol over myself. Luckily, it didn't go on my eye, but it landed on my face. My little Pellegrino cat with alcohol did a little. Let me just put everything away from there. Just alcohol. The my light game going on. I'm just making sure everything's fucking clear. So now I'm gonna measure the gap. And the gap will tell me how much, how big the ribbon is that I'm going to cut inside that. Usually these mics come and they're kind of malnourished. The closer the ribbon is to the magnets, the better the sound. So I cut it as close as I can to the magnets, and that's what adds the dBs of sound. 3 to 5 dBs. I'm screaming at this. Bottom. So one more and round it off. All right, so the gap is 522. Paul, I don't know if you're watching this. I forgot to do it again where I give everybody a chance to get the gap. So 522 is the gap. That's the distance between 5 millimeters. 5.22 is between the gap. Most of these Chinese ribbons go from about 4.9 to about 5.5. I've seen fatheads have a 6.3 gap, which is like a Kohl's. And a Kohl's is 6. So this is 5.22 millimeters, and a Kohl's is 630 millimeters. And I think the biggest ribbons may be Steger's. Either they're 7 or 8 millimeters across, which is insane. But all right, give me 1 second here. We're going to be corrugating the ribbon to put it into the mic. Sheet of foil. These foils come in pretty big sheets at about $100 a sheet. It's high-grade aluminum. And I believe this is my last little batch for the moment. I do have more that I'm going to have to come in. It takes about 2 hours for me to cut these up and put them in a working kind of workable. The problem with these technically are that, let's say I've had the big sheet here and I'm cutting from the big sheet. If something happens and I damage that sheet, it's $100 down the drain. So I cut them in small workable pieces where if this gets damaged, I've got 4 more. So basically, that's kind of my thinking in that. And also, it's a lot easier to work. These are cut 5 inches. Yeah, this is 5 inches the length. And I want to say, I think it was 5 by 5 or 5.5, I think. I can't remember. So it's definitely like, or maybe it's, that'd be 3 inches. So I cut this about 3 inches by 5, and that's what I'm working with. Now, when I'm working with smaller ribbons, I could maybe save a little bit of space, but once you see me do this, sometimes even though I cut this and the ribbon in that mic is probably 2 inches, so it's about right here. So why do I need all this? When I lay the ribbon in, that wiggle room of sometimes this part gets damaged and I can pull in and use this half. So it's kind of a safeguard that I can still do this. I'm making a ribbon mic, or making a ribbon for a ribbon microphone. And I'm about to cut the ribbon here, and then I'm going to install it in a Cascade fathead ribbon mic, Mr. Glover. You know what? I got that on Reverb, honestly. No, eBay. They have, I mean, they're kind of like 30, 40 bucks, I think. The company is called it's a Panavice. And I think I got that from, they have bigger ones that like Royer uses, and a lot of those I mean, I basically for models and people that do, you know, probably 3D printers when they're doing work and painting. These are really wonderful for that. So I have 2 of them, and they're called Panavice. So let me get this in here. I mean, before all the stuff that are going on in California, man, I would walk outside and there's a taco truck, or there used to be taco trucks around here. They're all gone now. Maybe 2 are left. And, you know, it's pretty sad. It's not necessarily being anything political, but definitely my neighborhood has changed. We used to be able to go out and get a taco truck and grab some tacos, and now it's just like, you know, there is one down the street at Beverly, which is always crowded, and I think they've probably already been vetted for if anybody in there is a certain type of a person. But I haven't gone there yet. I got a little bit of cash. I could go for a taco. So now I'm gonna cut the ribbon. Those little dots are just me making an estimate of where I think the cut's gonna be. And then I have to grab a clean razor blade in my shot glass. That's the one right there. Thank you all for still sticking around. We're at 84 minutes. Jesus Christ. I tell my wife, oh, I'm just gonna go over there and cut a ribbon, go live on YouTube, and it's like all fucking night. It's okay. I dig it. Obviously, I don't have a life. I don't have a social life. Or I'd be probably doing something in that world. From the main sheet, I put this safely away. liking going on here. So yeah, obviously I don't have a social life. Today is, I think it's Saturday. Is it Saturday? I think so. Some of you may already be Sunday. Some of you may be midday Sunday, I think. I lived in China, in Singapore. I remember what it was like to be 16 hours ahead of everything. Oh, I remember what I was talking about. That story when back in the 90s about all the weird shit that would happen. So I remember there was a club called the Garage, and we were playing there with a band called Tuscarora. Sad to say, the singer of that band committed suicide. It's one of those moments where when you hear that had happened and you're just kind of like, I mean, what can you say? Obviously he was unhappy and maybe there was things more there than you could even understand. But when you have a friend, his name is Gary, he was so fucking talented. He had a boy, maybe he had 2 kids, and he had so much going on. I mean, he was in a cover band too. So he was in a cool band, and then he made his living flying to like Las Vegas. I think at the time it was really, I mean, now you see cover bands everywhere, but he was in one of those bands that became like, their week was flying to Vegas on Monday, fly to Chicago by Tuesday or Wednesday. They fly to Florida, do a Friday night show, and they fly back to LA for like a Saturday night show. And he was in a band that used to do covers. He was that talented. But anyways, we were playing with his band, and there was a girl bass player. Her name was Anne. She actually used to work at Larrabee, which is one of the greatest fucking recording studios. And she's a sick bass player. But anyways, this is back in the day, of course she was a super classy chick, and she had a big fur coat on, and we're playing in LA. Hey, what's up? Look who's here, Charles Roman. Sorry, I'm trying to get this fucking, I gotta grab this piece. It's like not cooperating with me, the foil. So we were playing this place called the Garage, and it was a bad neighborhood. I mean, when you think about Hollywood and that area, and people talk about MS-13, that's all over East Hollywood and Echo Park. So when you hear people talk about, like, people are walking down the street with their yoga mats and shit, I mean, there's probably a bunch of aunties that their sons got out of jail or prison and they're fucking MS-13. They're all in the hills. So anyways, she was going to go to her car to, I think she forgot her tuner or something silly. And I said, and she was going to walk out. I said, hey, let me walk you to your car. And I'm not doing anything. This is not like creepy styles. Like, I'm literally just thinking like, she's wearing a fur coat. She's wearing a dress. She's a white chick. She's got that blonde hair and, and she's walking down the street and it's one of those fucking neighborhoods. And I was like, I'll go with you. Not like I'm Mr. fucking Bruce Lee or anything, but I think it was better that she doesn't walk outside alone. So, I walk out with her, and she was parked on the opposite side of the street of the club. So we walked out of the club. We go right, probably about maybe 300 feet. She's on the opposite side of the club. So we walk across the street. She goes to her car. She gets the tuner or whatever it was that she got. And she's talking on her cell phone. And I can't stop her from where she's walking because she's not really paying attention to me. But as I'm observing, when I talk about those things about where you observe, you got your spider senses go off. I see a guy across the street on a side street opening up the trunk of his car, and he pulls out an AK-47, and she's walking towards him on her phone, not paying attention. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. And we're on Santa Monica Boulevard in Virgil and East Hollywood. So I grab her by the arm. I said, do not fucking walk that direction. We're going to walk this way. There's a guy with a gun to your left. Do not look at him. And as we pass him, because he's doing something in the trunk of his car, he pulls out the gun. I see the gun. We pass him at that moment, and I can hear him saying, "Fuck that guy, fuck that guy." And I'm just like, oh my fucking God, I'm just waiting to hear a pop, 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 and he's gonna fucking slay us right there on Santa Monica Boulevard. And as we walk down the street, he walks behind us and he stands in the middle of the street and he's like, "Fuck you, motherfucker, fuck you, man, fuck you." And he's like yelling at some guy with the gun in the middle of the street of Santa Monica Boulevard. So by that time, we're getting close to the club, and as we get close to the club, there's a few people hanging out. I tell the door guy, I said, "Hey man, there's a dude just behind me. He's got an AK-47. Can you call the police?" And this hand comes out of the crowd, grabs me by the shirt, puts a gun to my face, and goes, "Who's fucking looking for me?" And it was the homie that guy was looking for. And I don't even know what was said, but then he hears the guy yelling down the street, "Fuck you, motherfucker," sees him with an AK-47. He lets me go. He runs into the club, runs out the back exit, down the alley. And that's another moment in LA. And I was just like, oh my fucking God, man. Talk about like being at the wrong place. But I'm glad that homie just didn't decide to fucking slay some homies and a chica, because we were easy targets, man. She's wearing a white fur coat. And I've grabbed her by the arm because I'm just like, walk straight, please. And that was my fucking night out in East Hollywood. That was probably 2000 and maybe 1 or 2. I don't remember when Gary passed, but it was something like that. So hold on a second. Oh, so we're gonna put this in this corrugator. It's gonna corrugate the ribbon. Here, this corrugation will be finer. Is corrugated. Microphone. Inside this microphone. But whenever you do a ribbon, you have to you gotta stretch it out. Because I think that is the factor of when they travel across the world, if you don't stretch them out. Once they're kind of like an accordion, like you need to stretch them out so they can go back to the original form. If you don't stretch it out and you stall it in the ribbon, there's a good chance that when it's traveling or the first time sound pressure hits it, your ribbon is going to be ruined. So I do these ribbons pretty resilient, kind of like Coles. I mean, I'm sorry, not Coles. Those are the easiest to break. Like a Royer. Shit. This is flopping around on me. I'm going to stretch it. I just kind of crimped it. Like if and that just kind of gets it. As you can tell, it even looks a little different after you've already crimped it. Oh man, thank you, brother. Yeah, my friend Chaz here, he just had a few mics I sent out to him, some fatheads. And he had another one, which is an 80. And he's got the MXL R80. There it is. That's the one right there, man. The R80 is fucking sick. That was a really kind of small run of that. I don't see a lot of those. Okay, so really quick, let's get this guy ready to be prepped. So now what I need to do, besides talking a bunch of shit, we need to install the ribbon in the microphone. So that ribbon will be right in there. But before I do that, I need to look for a small screw. Hold on a second now. Hold that thought. Give me 1 second. On a technical note, I gotta do a little something here. Hold on. Hold on a second, everyone. I'm just looking for something right now. Yeah, Chaz, man, you're lucky. Chaz is up in. He's on the east. He's an East Coast guy, but he's somewhere on the West Coast. I think up in Frisco, enjoying some clam chowder, hopefully some lobster, hopefully some good steaks, living it up. All right, so let's get this ready now. So I gotta put my alcohol in my little Pellegrino cup. Like I said, if you're interested, definitely add me, subscribe if you want to become a member. I promise you some really badass videos coming up soon. I'm a producer, some really exclusive stuff. If you're a recording enthusiast, I should say even more than that. You know, I got nothing more to offer except that. So, you know, my fucking crazy stories. All right, let me get my mojo on. Let me get my drink of Topo Chico. Hold on now. If you want to help me out, if there's a thank you icon, sometimes it's not there, you can buy me a cup of coffee. That's right, I'm a coffee whore. It's okay. I make my living off being an artist. If you gotta just sometimes say, can you help me out and put out a hand to keep it going? 59 years old. What the fuck am I doing making records still, you know? I don't recommend this lifestyle. I mean, I don't do drugs. My friends that have done drugs that have this being a musician or an artist, a lot of them have died, I'm sorry to say. So there's many lessons learned in that type of lifestyle. I'm not saying don't do that. I know there's a lot of guys that... I was just watching a video and they were talking about that movie Popeye, that on the set of Popeye, that Robin Williams, they would do these, you know, showings. I guess weekly they would have their film cams sent out to view as they filmed it. And when they came back, they'd be loaded with coke. And I was like, oh my fucking God. I can't say those are the good old days, but for some people, those are the good old days. Yeah, man. Jazz is living it up, man. If you were in LA, I'd be like, let's go to Taco Zone. There's a really cool Italian place by my house. There's an insane fish taco place down the street from the studio. It doesn't always have to be expensive, you know, affordable. All right, so I've just put drops of alcohol there because that's going to hold the ribbon in place. Now I'm going to see if I can get this one and done. I hope so. That is a ribbon, which is, this is 2.5. Them. You saw me manhandling it a little bit, but not so concerned with that one yet. I need to make sure this is in the middle. Let me check it out in the light. Hold on. Yes, it's not. So I need to move this over a hair. Did it? I may have moved it again back. Let me check. That's pretty good. So that is almost as pretty as my eyes. There it is. Yeah, man. I will be at AES. But there's a lot of good places to eat in Long Beach, man. Everything along the Queen Mary is probably seafood. But if you go out there, don't go to like, was it PK Ching's or whatever? Like, try to get something that's like, some cool spot that's like mom and pop owned. Those are always the best ones. All right, my tools. Where are my tools? Okay. Whole stash is all screwed up. Hold on. All the way because I still have to put another screw in, and you'll see me when I move this. Hopefully the ribbon doesn't move. I just have to get it in there. Like 3 strikes and you're out. So I mentioned about that club called the Garage. Across the street from the Garage were the best fucking burgers. What it was called. J Burgers were insane. It's kind of like if you're familiar with the Tommy's Burger, but they used to put an egg on it, and they were kind of smash burgers before. I mean, we're talking like early 2000s, so I think no one knew what a smash burger was, except those burgers were smashed. And make sure this is right. And I was at J Burgers, and I went to go see a band over there. I just had foot surgery. Manny Morgan, God rest his soul. He had passed away a few years ago, had an accident. He was my childhood friend I grew up with. So me and Manny Morgan, I know, Manny and Manny. Well, they used to call me Manny, and they'd call him Manuel. And so we were. Okay, hold on a second. This is changing its position. Hold on. Over here. Get a wicked fucking burger. And As we walk up to J Burgers, there was a Latino. Obviously, he looked like a gang member. And to tell you how big he was, on the back of his head, he had a tattoo of the Aztec calendar. I know a lot of people that probably have that done on their back, but that's how fucking big his skull was. So I noticed that, but my spider senses weren't tingling. I just go, oh, there's a fucking homie. I wasn't in crutches, but I had my foot was bandaged up, and I think I was had like probably sandals on because one of my foot got operated on. So I'm just going there with my Manny Morgan. We went and saw a band. I can't remember who we went to go see, but it must have been someone good because I jammed out. Hey, Sam, what's going on? And Mary, maybe both. How are y'all doing? We almost have all the crew here. This is that one. This is not the same screw, but I can feel like that hole where that is crooked. So anyway, so we go to J Burgers. I noticed the homie that welcome to the show. Mary and Sam. Chaz is here. Paul was here earlier, but he may have had to go to bed. He's on British time. So, what's this saying? Oh yeah, so I'm just going to get my J Burger. Not a big deal. Oh shit. See, I almost made a mistake. I gotta use a new Q-tip every time, or the foil sticks to it. That's not a good thing. So that looks better. Okay. Let me check it in the light. Yep, good. So I'm sitting. This is on the corner once again of Virgil and Santa Monica. When I mentioned about that club, the garage, that story earlier about the guy coming out with his AK-47 out of the trunk, screaming at another guy, and that guy finds me, puts a gun to my head, and tells me who's fucking screaming at me, and that guy's with the AK-47. Same block as that block. And I'm about to have a first. I mean, when they set that burger on your, like, it was one of those ones that like had those like the high chairs, and it's kind of like a bar, kind of. So, anyways, I'm about to get my first bite of my J Burger, and I notice almost out of my peripheral vision, I see big chrome wheels, an SUV, and I see a Magnum or a big gun like a Magnum come out of the window. And I was like, oh my fucking God. And the guy opens up his gun on J Burgers, unloads it, a Magnum, while we're all fucking eating our burgers. Oh my God, man. So I hit the ground, and there was only these like little pot holders, or these pots, like these kind of ceramic, or these pots that you can kind of hang on. So I hit the floor, Manny hits the floor. We just hear pop, 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 pop. I mean a pop. I mean, we're talking, if you ever seen like Dirty Harry and the Enforcer, you know, you hear that. So I hear the guy unload his Magnum out of a window of his car as he drives by. And as he drives by, out of the corner of my eye, I see that cholo that I told you that was massive with the Aztec calendar on the back of his head tattooed. He goes, fuck you guys, man. And I guess this guy's a bad shot, thankfully and gratefully, because he unloaded his whole gun on Sam's. Didn't hit anyone. Didn't even hit the guy they were trying to kill. And he's to my left, and then I'm about 4 people from him. He then opens up his gun, pop, 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 and he's jumping over us kicks my leg, the one that had the operation on, and he's unloading his clip of his gun at the car driving off. And then the parking lot was behind the place. So then he jumps in his car, and that jammed off a few seconds earlier. He jumps in his car and he goes after that guy. And I'm just sitting there on the ground, and I look over at my foot, and I can see the blood of my foot just blossoming like a flower blooming. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. When I hit the ground, I kicked my foot and knocked the stitches out. So then when I say we, there's about four of us that were all on the floor. We all kind of crawled. There was a little brick cubbyhole that you could crawl to where they had, I think it was one or two tables. And when I crawled into there, man, there was a lady with her two little kids crying. I was like, oh my God, that's so sad. And ex-filmmaker too. You know what? The ribbons I get, I think they're from Italy. Or they're from Europe, but I think there's like a weird thing where they're from Japan. And most people that buy ribbons, I will say, um, they usually buy them from Ghost Note. I think it's called Ghost Note or Gas Note, I think. It's on eBay. If you look at them, they sell sheets. And that's probably the best way you can get them. It's the same. I think that guy gets it from the same place. He just cuts them into smaller pieces. I buy them in big sheets, and they're really scary, and I cut them up. But anyway, so when that guy opened up his gun, he jams off. We get up, and I see the lady crying. So finally, I hobble back over to my burger, and the guy that was cooking the burger is just flipping burgers like normal. He's like flipping burgers like, business as usual. Virgil and Santa Monica, homies, shooting each other, and gratefully and thankfully, no one was hit. I mean, both of those guys unloaded both of their guns on a small corner on a small burger stand, and no one got hit. So anyways, yeah, that was the second thing that happened there. And then the third one is I watched some homeless guy get run over by a Volkswagen, and that is not a pretty sight. So I told myself after I saw that I wouldn't go back to that place. I feel like some places, and I don't mean like I'm superstitious, but some places are like hell is opened up, and a lot of shit goes down in that area, even though it's a neighborhood full of families and people just wanting to live and not be bothered. There's an element, doesn't matter where you live, you're going to get something like that. I'm pulling it towards me, and then I'm tucking it under the brass plate. So I'm kind of like tweaking it and tuning it till I like the tension. And that's kind of what I do. That's better. Yep, that's nice. But I think it's a little bit to the right. I gotta move it a little bit to the left. Here, hold on. So that is a ribbon that I installed in the microphone. That ribbon is 2.5, which is a little bit thicker, but I corrugate it without paper, which adds a finer, those lines are finer than the ones that it came with, would have more detail. So those move around, all those cuts and all those edges are mid-range and upper frequencies. And that's kind of what's going on with this microphone now that I've done it. And it'll sound like $1,000,000. I mean, there's nothing like a fresh ribbon mic. Nothing. I mean, it's people talk shit about BK5s. I'm like, man, if you ever heard a fresh BK5, oh my god. I did Michael Beinhorn's, who'd use the same mics on Soundgarden Super Unknown. Hold on a second. Nirvana fame. Shit. Ribbons. Hold on. I don't like the way that's sitting there. I hope it doesn't move. Ah, it moves. Shit. Ah. You gotta do that again. Son of a bitch. Anyways, yeah, that's the kind of shit. This is actually, I think now it would probably be considered old. This is a Fathead, one of the first generations. It looks like the serial number is consecutive, which is, 8810. I think the other one is like 88.9. But these have Lindell transformers. These are like pretty much OGs. Super wonderful mic. Hold on. That's it. Make sure that's good in the light. DH's questioned, yes. Cole microphones, which I do, and they're scary. This ribbon is 2.5. The original ribbon that was probably in this was probably 1.8. Cole's, which costs $3,000 now for a pair, the ribbon is 0.6. So this is 2.5. A Cole's ribbon is 0.6. And those, man, I tell you, it's taken me 2 years to learn how to handle those ribbons and change those. But they're beautiful microphones, but probably the most sensitive ribbons you can put in a mic. And when people manhandle those, now that I've worked on them, I'm just, if you're a producer and you're going to put that on the snare because you're a badass, you're going to cost that studio the cost of the money to re-ribbon that ribbon because you're going to ruin it. They are not made to withstand high sound pressure. Yeah, well, they used to be about 3,500. I think they've gone down a little bit for a pair, but yeah, Kohl's is very expensive. Are there a few manufacturers of ribbons? No, there's massive amount of manufacturers of ribbons. I mean, nowadays it's probably one of the cheapest things that you can get to in a recording enthusiast, that you get instant results of satisfaction of whatever you're recording because they're ribbon. Come on, hold on. Ribbon mics are what the Beatles use. I mean, the Levy Breaks by Led Zeppelin. Hold on. Those are Beyer 160s. The overheads for Ringo Starr, Coles. And they use a bunch of different Coles. There's some other Coles that are used. The Birdcage by Alltech. I would probably say there's hundreds of ribbon companies, but there's only, you can count them on your hand, the most, the ones that are probably the best. Hold on, let me check this real quick. Love it. have to move it again. I think it's too far to the right. I tell you, I can lie to you all and be like, I want to go home. I think I've been doing this for like fucking, how long now? 121 minutes, 2 hours. And I do want to go home. But also, it's like Tourette syndrome. Like, I can't let this mic, I can't go to bed knowing that I didn't fucking knock this mic out of the ballpark. I hate that, but that's a good thing. I hope I don't destroy it now, because now I'm like, this is the point in the mic where the screw flies into the ribbon and it destroys it, and I have to redo it again. And I already had trouble with that one screw, which I've already got that fixed. But when I installed that ribbon and I'm locking it into these plates, if the ribbons moved a little bit to the right, I don't really like that. I don't like the way it looks. It was okay. It would be fine technically, but not for me. I'm just like, it just bothered me. I don't know if that's OCD or something, but that's what takes me the longest, man. Everybody has mics. I wish I could just blow that shit out, but then what would I be doing? Talking shit, telling you I'm gonna do a great job on your mic, and then I'm blowing it out, not even fucking getting it properly set. I need to get this a little bit more to the right, which means I gotta drench it again. The light. Oh yeah, it's way better. So that little bit of time to just get that in there. So that looks fucking good. That looks fucking great. Fucking ribbon. I shouldn't do that. Oh my god, the ribbon guy's gonna get me now. Shit. Anyways, let's take that back. Zip, 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 zip. Okay, cool. Back to square one. That looks fucking great. Now I gotta install it again. Let's go through the whole ordeal of these clamps and these brackets, but what can you do? It's part of the job. Shit. Sorry, ribbon gods. Don't make me fuck this up. Alright, Chihuahua. Come on, motherfucker. Ooh. Hoochie poochie. My wife doesn't like me cussing, so I've changed the F word into hoochie poochie. Even though I want to say fucking shit. Jesus fucking Christ. I've already set this bracket 3 times. Come on, ribbon gods. Let me just drive this home. One and done. I wanted to hit the taco truck on the way home. Jesus. I think I've eaten enough today, actually. I probably shouldn't hit the taco truck. Keep separate. They're from another dimension. Another dimension, another dimension, another dimension, another dimension. Okay, I'm gonna get my light game going on, because that's what I'm fucking up. I'm doing all this shit, and I'm like, oh, I can't fucking see what I'm doing. Hold it now. more time. Fucking perfect. I love it. Thank you, Ribbon Gods. Holy cows. 126 minutes. Well, that's 2 hours. And some fucking crazy stories. So, okay, you spent an hour working on it, and the rest of it was talking shit. So this is a ribbon mic. Mike, the guy who sent these, was online, but I haven't seen him. But knowing that it's a Saturday night, I mean, fuck. I mean, people have lives. Like, if you're watching this, then you're definitely home. Like, you're like, you know, maybe you had a long week and you're like, fucking Saturday night, I'm staying home. I was thinking about doing that too, but I think because I have car trouble this last week, it made me really appreciate being able to come in here and work and just trying to get back into the world. I have some mixing and some other stuff to get done. And I got some more bikes coming in, which is great. These came in. I have 3 more greenies to do. I just sent some greenies to Guam to Ryan, who's actually someone that came here on YouTube. And that's the thing, man. I got to say thank you all everybody's across the world. Joey, I haven't seen Joey, but he's in England. Paul's in England. Ryan's in Guam. Chaz and the other Chaz. I got 2 Chazes from New York. One's in Frisco right now. Tacoma, Washington. Shout out to Common Time Productions. They have a new studio that they've just leased a building on and are excited to get that going. Okay, so the business of the screen, I'll do the top screen, and I think tomorrow I'll come in and do that one. I want to do a good job. It's already late, and I want to just always make sure it's about quality, not quantity. So I just want to make sure that I am on point, and I think this has been a nerve-wracking one where my hands are a little bit stressed on that one motherfucking screw. So let me do the top tape so you can see me do that. And the reversal will be the same as the other side. So it's not like you're missing anything. But he did send me a pair. So I will have to do the other one. I'll probably do the other one off camera. Makes it less stressful. I can talk shit to myself. Okay, let me get some razor blades. Dangerous. If you want to know what I'm doing, I'm just move the camera over a little bit. Just doing the tape. These are these pieces that I'm going to use. This tape. And you know what I like about this tape is this is what they use in MXLs. It's packaging tape. And you know, even when I do MXLs, some older ones that have that kind of tape, it usually stays on pretty good. And even with weather and humidity, and it just seems pretty stable. So I like it. So that's why I use this tape. The tape that they used on those mics, I don't even know what that is. It's not really like duct tape, but it's almost like a glue tape. Or I think it's good for, I mean, at the time, I probably did fine, but over time, it just doesn't last. I've never come across this tape becoming like electrical tape, where it's just, I mean, it does get sticky and it is nasty and it leaves a residue, but the bond is pretty fucking good. You know what I'm trying mine? Holy cows. See, now I'm starting to feel you know, when you do this for a few hours, you're getting a little bit loopy. I'm kind of loopy. I need a drink of some Topo Chico. If you want to help me out as I wind down, you can buy me a cup of coffee because I'm a coffee whore. Buy me a Topo Chico. Somewhere in the description, there's a thanks thing there. If it's not there, it'll show up tomorrow. But And then also, if you're not a member, you can join to be a member. But members are going to be an exclusive group of people. I think right now I have 7 or 6. When I do videos, and these are live, which just go right out into the world. But if I have any videos that you can stay and see, I'm going to have some premieres coming soon where I think being one of the members is going to be really fucking cool. And also, when I premiere my ribbon mic, I'm going to do a chat with everyone that's a member here. And like I said, I just got back my prototype and I've got it tested. If it passes, I have 3. I'm going to send one to the East Coast to my buddy to try it out. Send one to Honolulu, Hawaii to my friend Dimitri Marmash, my partner at my mic company. He has a wicked studio called the Rainforest Room. If you want to look him up on Instagram, I think it's fun with audio. And so yeah, I'm literally within the week going to be holding the first prototype. And this design, I've worked on this mic for 4 years. I know you see me doing this right now. The whole story of this was when I made my first prototype, it was fucking insane good. I mean, it was a double ribbon like a Buyer 160. I could not believe that I saw my friend Ulf, ULF, Ulf. His YouTube's called Hobo Rack, like a hobo bum, and then REC for recording. Wait, hold on, I remember what I did wrong last time. That's what I did. I can't cover the screws. I need to have access to those screws. So I've got to like put the tape in right. That's what I mean. Like, this is where I get loopy and don't pay attention. Can't cover the screw holes. It's 2 inches from that to the other screw. See? Perfect. So yeah, you go to YouTube, look up Ulf, ULF, and his page is called Hobo Rec, HOBO, and then REC, like recording. Hobo like a bum, rec like a recording. About 5 years ago, maybe 6, he had a video called How to Make a Ribbon Mic. At that time, I'm a producer. I've been recording, I don't know, 25 years. They did it again. I've been recording like, probably at that point, 20 years. And I'm never interested in building a mic. I love ribbons, though. Steve Albini showed me how to record. And so my first record, he had 160s, Coles. I'm familiar with what they were. And it was always scary when I used to think about ribbons. So yeah, he had a video called How to Make a Ribbon Mic. If you search that, you'll see that video. Probably 5, 6, 7 years old. And after I saw that video, I said, oh my God, I can make a ribbon mic. And I remember I followed his whole technique and I made my first ribbon mic from that. And if you look at the very first video here on my YouTube channel, you're going to go back 4 years. The very first one is the demo of me playing guitar into my ribbon mic. It's so fucking sick. So when I did that first mic, I was like, oh, I'm a stud. I'm fucking good. And then, and I record through a small amp. And when I recorded with Albini, I did the same thing. So when I I did the first testings of that ribbon with the small amp. And I was like, oh shit, I'm fucking good. And then I was so confident that this was going to be ripping, I did it through a Marshall. And the Marshall just fucking, it didn't ruin the ribbon, but it definitely did not stand the sound pressure. And at that time, I just didn't know about it. I mean, of course, I had read about sound chambers and all the things that they do to relieve high sound pressure. Now, like, for instance, like AEA mics, I think those mics are kind of the same. I think an N22 and N8 are the same mics, but they use different gauzing and stuff on the front. And so they deal with sound pressures a different way. And I think that those bodies are made to withstand high sound pressures. I mean, that company's been around for a long time. They're legit. So I didn't know any of that stuff except for I wanted to make a ribbon mic. I did it again. Shit. Hold on. I know I said this one, but I got that fucking problem when I started. I'm like, I can't go to bed tonight unless this is fucking legit. So on my first sound test on a Marshall, it didn't hold up. Had all kinds of weird things that were happening. I didn't understand. I had made the mic out of metal from Home Depot parts, and most of the mic was made out of airplane parts. And there was like a salvage yard of old airplane parts and stuff, and I used to go raid it and get all the parts to make the mic. So I literally made the mic out of airplane parts. Little thing there. Hold on a second. This is scary. It happened. See? Sometimes when you torque that thing, it messes with that. So in torquing here, it made a little twist in that ribbon right there. All isn't gone, but that means I gotta take it apart again, son of a bitch. So yeah, I made that first ribbon mic. I was excited, and then I was like, oh fuck. So my buddies that were all like stoked, like, we're gonna make a mic, man, he's got it. I was like, no, we're not gonna make a mic. I need to stop this idea of making a ribbon mic, and I need to learn as much as I can about ribbon mics. So I went on a quest, and you guys are watching it. I'm like 4 years into this, where I do only ribbons. And I literally have worked on almost every ribbon in the world. That's, I shouldn't say ones that matter for me as a producer. And I've even done these really rare Telefunkens. I mean, I think they were 1930. I've done bird cages. I've done Coles, Byers. I've done all of them. And in doing that, it's given me knowledge. So when I did BK5s, I was just, really just soaking in all the different styles. Even this mic, like I told you, these are Chinese. This is out of an MXL. This is out of an MXL R144. And, I mean, that's it. It's the same one. These ones are grinded down a little bit on the end to meet that, but technically, that is it. All the Chinese mics are made like that. So when I was putting on the screen and I fooled around with this little edge over here, I believe at that point, it's always a dangerous thing when you grab that ribbon and I go to tear off that end. It's notorious for that little bit of pressure can pull through the brass plate. That's exactly what had happened. So it slightly distorted that. Now, because I corrugate these and I know they're really, really good, there's a possibility, almost like I can almost blow it back into shape. But I think I gotta blow it from the other side. Guys, I talk shit, and the ribbon guys came back and got me. last thing I'm doing with this mic is installing it back. And that little thing that you see hanging there, when I moved it, it went through the bottom plate and distorted it. And it's just fucking shit. But I care. And that's why I didn't just like blow it off and act like everything's okay. Because everything's not okay. My homie's gonna get this mic. It better be fucking badass. So I don't think I'm gonna be able to save this ribbon. But we will see. That little mark right there, you see it? It got creased. Now, if it was not in the middle of that and it was just out, it would go back into its shape. But when I pulled, when this, I'll just show you. For nothing. It was fun. So, for instance, that, you can see it there. That little mark right there, I can't fix that. So, that being said, I need to redo the ribbon. Because it's, even though that's, it was, I'll be honest with you, it could still fucking sound badass. But that's not what I want. I want that to look fucking as pretty as my eyes, and I need to redo this again. Since I've already been doing this for 2 hours, now an hour and 44 minutes, I think maybe fatigue will have the best of me, because that's a stupid mistake on my end. I always know to really, really be careful. Like, I'm supposed to break that piece off so it's not obviously sticking out. And I didn't, because I've been talking shit. And, this ribbon, that actually screw was just a fucking nightmare. I spent almost 30 minutes just trying to get that screw out. And I think it just kind of did my modro. So I could do one thing. Let me just see here. Hold on. You can only do this once. I will see. I will see if this will be even doable or possible. Is it possible? Is possible? I don't know. But we are going to find out right now. Let's just see. Let's see. I mean, right now I got nothing to lose. Except another fucking 20 minutes, but what's another 20 minutes? This is YouTube. Everybody can go to bed. You can be like, fuck that shit. I'm gonna watch the Pakistani guy whose axle gear joint broke, and this guy brings it in, and the narrator says He's only making $20 an hour. His boss said that I'll pay you 60 if you can fix this, $60 an hour if you can fix this. And then the Pakistani guy goes, I can do that. And then you see him like grind it and weld it and use like homemade tools and shit. And then the truck's on the road. I don't think this is gonna work. I think this is gonna be, oh, I didn't stretch it. Hold on. No problem with the sound. I'm just tripping fucking balls. I'm tripping fucking balls because I actually maybe made this work. But I don't fuck it up. Kind of like some black magic shit. Shit. From the dead. Alright, if you've been watching this, I just did some crazy shit. I was able to save it. Not yet. I'm not out of the woods yet. here. I see people talking about them, some stuff. All right. So let's see if I can make it to this. I just had a total insane incident where the ribbon got distorted. Not bad. It just slightly got crimped. And then I just kind of did a little black magic. I thought, okay, you get about... Oh my God. See what I mean? Why the fuck did I just shut the fuck up? Oh my God. I'm gonna shut it now. Talked and I didn't stabilize that ribbon. Oh my God, dude. This is almost too much. It's almost too much. This fucking shit gets solid. Holy motherfucker. Shit. That's it. Holy cows. Well, that came back from the dead. All right. Oh my God. I can't believe I was able to say that one. Like I said, it was just distorted on the very end. I didn't like it. And you only really have one attempt like that because this ribbon is fresh. It's high grade. I corrugated it good. It's resilient. You just saw that. And I think I'm going to call that one and come back in the morning after a cup of espresso and then get this one solidified. I've got one more to do. And of course, I will check these. And if there's something I don't like about them, I will do something about it. Maybe re-ribboned again. All right, so there it is. That's a Cascade Fathead. What an adventure. Everyone, we're into this almost 156 minutes and counting. It's 11:10 Pacific Standard Time. I hope everybody have a good night. I'm pretty exhausted. That mic got me. All right, man. You all take care of yourself. Thank you. Remember, if you can subscribe, if you could become a membership, that'd be great. If you want to buy me a cup of coffee in the thanks, there's a thank you in all my videos. So you can thank me. You can watch a video from a week ago. You can buy me a coffee. All right, everyone. Talk to you later. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I killed it. I mean, that one. Holy fucking cows. Talk about, I'm like the dog whisperer. I'm like the ribbon whisperer. I love it. All right, talk to you all.